So with the reveal of Year 10 of Rainbow Six Siege almost being just a month away, I want to take a look at some of the cold hard facts of things which are confirmed to be happening in Year 10. Of course, this isn't the entire roadmap, we are yet to see that yet, but these are going to be changes, balancing philosophies, and new content which we know Ubisoft are officially doing in Year 10 of Rainbow Six Siege. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, sub if you haven't already, and let's get into this.
Hacked a drone, bullseye!
So the first thing we 100% can confirm and know is that in Year 10 of Rainbow Six Siege, every single brand new operator which gets added to the game will have a new weapon. And just to clarify, a brand new operator does not mean remaster. A brand new operator, if we're looking at Year 9 for example, would be Scopos and Deimos, both of which have started this new design philosophy which Ubisoft have confirmed they are going to continue with in the future years. And that is anytime they add a brand new operator, there will be at least one brand new weapon in their loadout. Deimos, for example, his brand new weapon was the Vendetta pistol. And Scopos, of course, has the brand new PCX-33 assault rifle. Again, this has been confirmed on Twitter by the developers that every single time we get a new operator, at least one weapon in their loadout will be brand new. Whether that's a primary or secondary, it doesn't matter. There will be at least one brand new gun added to the game every new operator. And with our current season being Year 9 Season 4, Operation Collision Point, bringing us a remaster of Blackbeard, that means that Year 10 Season 1 is almost likely going to be a brand new operator, so we can expect a brand new weapon very soon in the game, which is very exciting stuff. Now on the topic of operators, let's move over to our next point.
Hello there!
So it has been stated that changing their content rollout, bringing new remaster seasons instead of doing a brand new operator every season, was something that was done to not only improve existing operators, such as Blackbeard for example, who has significantly increased in pick rate and popularity since his remaster, and I think we can all agree, even if you find shields annoying, that they've done quite a very good job with it. But what another thing which they've said that remaster seasons have allowed them to do is put more effort into the brand new operators coming into the game. For example, it has been stated that an operator such as Scopos and the design philosophy of having two robots that you can switch to at any time throughout the match was actually conceived all the way back in Year 4. And even back then, when it does seem like they had a bigger dev team, they still had no time and resources to actually make that operator complete and actually design it, so it was simply just an idea that never left the page. Well, with the introduction of remaster seasons in Year 9, it means that very demanding operators such as Scopos, which take a lot of resources to make, could actually finally be developed and make her way into the game. As well as this is also why they're running with that philosophy of giving these new operators a brand new weapon as well. So although it's not confirmed in the sense that next year is going to be 2 new ops and 2 remaster ops, it has been confirmed that the cycle of doing remaster seasons is something that they are keen on continuing with, it seems. And it definitely seems like we are going to get more remasters in Year 10. Now me personally, I don't think that's a terrible thing. I don't necessarily mind the fact that it is replacing a new operator, because for example, Blackbeard, I think they've done very well. You may disagree and that is fine, but to me, Blackbeard was perfectly enough for me when it comes to an operator department, despite him not being new. However, if they are continuing with these remaster seasons, I would like to see a little bit more in them. For example, I would like to maybe see some new secondary gadgets get added in these remaster seasons. I think that could be really fun. And I think something that could be really cool across the board would be new scopes. Not saying they should bring back the 1.5, I mean like new casings, so you'd have a new one-time scope available, which could then be used on every single weapon. Just more minor additions, but are still substantial enough for people to look at and say, hey, that's pretty cool, nice new content. So I actually think that Operation Collision Point and the Blackbeard remaster have shown us that a remaster season can actually be quite good if it is done well and done correctly, and it does seem that they have learned from their mistakes of Operation New Blood, so if they can continue to increase the quality of remaster seasons going on, and this in turn also allows them to put more resources into new operators, then honestly, I think they have hit a very good stride if they can continue to work on that and do it consistently. Now, this next one you probably weren't aware of, and it might take you by surprise.
I got this bet with Porter.
Yes, no more attacker weapons on defense. So for example, some defenders that have attacker weapons is Thunderbird, she has Finka's Spear, Tubarao has Maverick's AR-15, Arini has Dokubi's DMR. There are a few handful of defenders who have an attacker's weapon, but this is something which Ubisoft are seemingly now avoiding as much as they can, because they have claimed that when they balance a weapon, they typically balance it for the defense. So if an attacker weapon weapon does go to a defender and it is too strong, that attacker is then going to suffer the consequences because of the defender who has their weapon. And although this is something that they have done as recent of last year with Tubarão, it is seemingly something they are trying to move away from just for better balancing, and especially with the brand new philosophy that new operators will be getting new weapons. Count how many times I just said new. But it really does seem like they are trying to focus on defenders having different weapon pools from the attackers. I mean, we can look at Skopos, for example. She has the PCX-33 like we talked about on her robots. And under the hood, this gun is basically the AR-33 in which Thatcher and Flores has. Now, imagine instead of creating the PCX, they just gave Skopos the same gun as those two. They gave Skopos the AR-33. And let's say it's way too strong on Skopos and they look for ways to nerf it. That means that both Thatcher and Flores would then also be getting nerfed because of Skopos. But instead of this, they made a variation of the weapon, making the PCX-33, meaning that Skopos can technically have the AR-33, but in a more fine-tuned version designed more towards her, and if they need to buff it or nerf it, it doesn't have to affect Thatcher and Flores. So these are kind of all things which are going hand in hand with their new design philosophy going forward. And not to say that they're outright confirming that they'll never do this ever again, but just don't expect attacker weapons on defense anytime soon. And if they want to put an attacker's weapon on defense, they'll most likely just make a variation of it, just like with the PCX. And at least from my perspective, I'm perfectly fine with that. That makes a lot of sense. And although the PCX-33 is just a variation of the AR-33, it is still really cool to see them as separate weapons. And even if they do that with more guns, I'm perfectly fine with it. I think it is still very cool and warrants a new gun.
I like you.
Now, this part doesn't have anything confirmed, but we're going to look at trends here, and that is a potential new map in the year. Again, the stuff I just talked about is stuff that they have confirmed on Twitter with the philosophy, with stuff they're doing going forward in year 10. This one is more looking at trend-based and speculation, so just keep that in mind. But I thought it would be wrong not to talk about this in the video because I know a lot of comments will be asking about it. And all I'll say is, I think there's probably a high likelihood that there will be a new map in year 10. Our last brand new map ever added to the game was Lair. That was a year ago now in year 8 season 4, Operation Deep Freeze. And since then, we've not really had any new maps. We've had minor changes to Stadium Alpha and Stadium Bravo, but not substantial enough for them to be classed as reworks. Though I will say, that being part of a remaster season as well, linking it back to one of my earlier points, I would actually like more minor map changes during remaster seasons like that. They'd done this a few seasons ago, actually a few years ago, shall I say, where in one of the seasons in the year, I want to say Crystal Guard, but I'm not sure, they took 3 maps and done some minor changes to them. I believe it was Bank, Coastline, and I cannot remember the third one. But it actually improved all 3 of the maps they focused on without changing anything crazy about them. It would genuinely be like a new wall added, maybe an extra part of the balcony, a new window, like on Coastline, for example, in VIP, there never used to be a breachable wall there, it used to be a double window. So they changed that to a breachable wall, but they didn't touch anything else of the room or anything in Penthouse, for example. Like minor but substantial changes which really improve the maps. And I would love to see them repeat this process in some of the remaster seasons because it vastly improves maps with, you know, not to say that they aren't working, but minimal work compared to an entire rework, and it still keeps a majority of the core map the same. But yeah, went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but yeah, maybe expect to see a new map in year 10. I'm not saying that we're definitely getting one. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I don't want to trick anyone into thinking we're getting a new map. I'm just saying our last one was a year ago at this point. Surely we may get one in year 10, but we don't know.
Always room for more.
Now, another major thing which was announced for Year 9 Season 4, but seemingly did not come, was native M&K input for console. And I want to shout out Titanium Rolo for reminding me about this, because I actually forgot about this part, but she's not wrong. They did say that for Year 9 Season 4, with console lobbies and PC lobbies being merged, or, you know, you have the choice to play in either one, if a console player wants to play in a PC lobby, they have the option of using a native mouse and keyboard. Now, either they made a mistake in their wording when they were saying this, or this was silently delayed until the future. We can assume that probably in year 10, we'll get native M&K support on console when you're playing in PC lobbies. So that would mean if you plugged in your mouse and keyboard directly into your PlayStation or your Xbox, the game would pick this up, recognize it, and only let you queue in the PC player base. And then if you unplug your mouse and keyboard and then the controller is connected, the game would realize that, and you have the option to queue console lobbies or PC lobbies once again as well, which is how it currently works. Now, this doesn't eradicate the issue of people using Zim, remember, because Zim players can still bypass that and use their mouse and keyboard in console lobbies, whereas native mouse and keyboard support would only allow them to play in PC lobbies, if that makes sense. But this would be really good to counteract Zim users because native support would work different to a Zim. Now, I'm being honest, never used a Zim in my life. Even when I used to play console all the time, I was always a die-hard controller player, and I still stand by the fact forever that Zim is 100% cheating and should be treated as such. But I can imagine the input latency and the lack of overall control that comes from a Zim, as good as they may be, I don't know. I guess if that many people are using them, they are still pretty decent. But if you are doing it natively into your console, straight into PC lobbies with the PC aim and everything, it will most likely feel 10 times better than a Zim, which is trying to trick the system into thinking it's a controller. So most likely, I think a lot of Zim players will just drop the Zim, plug their mouse and keyboard in natively, and play PC lobbies because it will most likely just feel much better to play. But there will still be that large handful as well that will just bypass that blocker to go into console lobbies so they can stomp on controller players a little bit because they're terrible players and need that ego boost. So I imagine they did really want native mouse and keyboard support to come in this season. Maybe there was an issue that arose and they didn't want to delay crossplay any further, so they're like, right, we'll drop this part and release current crossplay. So I guess I should say as well, this isn't confirmed to year 10, but I think this is very likely that in year 10 season 1 or 2, or at some point in year 10, there will probably be native mouse and keyboard support for consoles, and you'll get put automatically into PC lobbies, and it'll be just like if you're playing PC.
You are being tracked.
This one isn't as major, but I feel like I should put a note of this, and that is a continued expansion to the career page and more badges and everything. They did say when this new system came out, when they revealed it, that this is something that they're going to continue to expand over time. So honestly, I'd say probably even year 10 season 1, expect to see more badges added, or maybe season 2. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that they could do with badges. I need to find out who makes this stuff, or I need to pass this information over because I have a really fun idea of some like dark ops challenges where it'd be really unique interactions you do and you get a badge for it. So let's say you kill a Ying who has thrown a Candela whilst playing as Warden with his gadget active. Really unique interactions, which makes Siege, really cool. And if a moment like that happens, you get an exclusive hidden badge for it. I don't know. I think that'd be a really fun addition, and they might even be planning stuff like that as well. So yeah, expect, an expansion to the career page, an expansion to the badges and everything. Really cool. And also probably like reputation system and all that stuff. And, it's a cool system, don't get me wrong. It's just not really that exciting to talk about. So yeah, going into the year 10 reveal next month, I would probably say expect a few new operators, at minimum 2, maybe 3. I would probably say expect 1 remaster as well. Again, could be 2 as well. A brand new weapon for every new operator they add, which might be as soon as year 10 season 1, so next season, which is very exciting stuff. And honestly, I just cannot wait to see what year 10 is going to bring us. So make sure you're subbed because I'll be bringing you all the brand new news content the moment it drops, and everything year 10 of Rainbow Six Siege related. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new. Catch you all later. Have a great rest of your day. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.